Anyone who is watching the news, keeping an eye on their social media feeds, can see that the genocide in Gaza is getting even worse day by day. On top of famine created by Israel, on top of the slaughter of people queuing for food on a daily basis, now comes the pre-announced destruction of Gaza City as part of an attempted full ethnic cleansing of Gaza. It comes alongside the massive increase in repression in the West Bank, with the rounding up of huge numbers of Palestinians whose only crime is to be Palestinians. Globally, there is mass resistance and opposition to this project of genocide, which is armed, funded, enabled, supported by the major Western powers. An important component of this global resistance is the global Flotilla. It is the largest flotilla yet by a large margin. There are people from almost 50 countries around the world participating, hundreds of people setting sail from multiple different ports. I was in Tunis for the past 2 weeks, participating in training for the mission, and what was striking was not just the international character of this event, but was the level of support of ordinary Tunisians who were doing anything they could to support our mission and to try to bring pressure on Israel to end its genocide and the blockade of Gaza. Unfortunately, I and other Irish participants, as well as participants in other countries, will not now be able to sail and have had to return home. In the context of many of our boats not being ready to sail, a decision has been made to go ahead with the boats that can, because we were already significantly delayed. That means that for many people, for family reasons, for work reasons or political reasons, it makes sense for them to give up their spots at this stage so that others can participate. That doesn't mean our participation in the flotilla has ended, but instead our support is going to be in different ways. For me, it means I will be back in the Dáil on the first day back of the Dáil on Wednesday, and using my platform to say that the Irish government's complicity in Israel's genocide must be ended. We need to have the passing of the full Occupied Territories Bill, including goods and services, and really we need to be imposing full trade sanctions on Israel. We need to stop the illegal overflights of weapons through our territory, and we need to stop any cooperation in the authorization of the sale of Israeli war bonds throughout the European Union. In particular, in the context of the global flotilla, I'll also be saying that, look, there's been 2 drone attacks so far when the boats were only in Tunis, and yet the Irish government made no statement about it. That's simply not good enough. We know what has happened to previous flotillas. An observer must be sent by the Irish state to try to ensure that the people on board are safe. There's going to be a significant number of protest events, rallies, actions over the coming weeks to support the flotilla and to call for an end to the genocide. Please do everything you can to participate in what is a global uprising against the oppression of the Palestinians, against imperialism, and to fight for a free Palestine.